from a vulgar, no-remorse school shooter.
He just smiled, and at one point even raised his middle finger to victims' families. And his statement to the court, just too vulgar to say.
To someone not accepting the sentence. Here are 5 school shooters who were sentenced to life in prison.
You're evil. I will have to eventually forgive you.
This is Thomas T.J. Lane, the American school shooter who killed 3 students and injured 3 more at Chardon High School in Ohio. On the morning of February 27, 2012, he walked into the school cafeteria with a .22 caliber gun and opened fire at random. Lane later showed the same cruelty in court, entering his sentencing hearing wearing a white t-shirt with the word killer written across it, proving he had absolutely no remorse.
And I would also like the record to reflect that during his statement to the court, the defendant extended his middle finger towards the victim's families.
Lane wasn't part of any school clique. Friends described him as quiet and guarded, someone who hid the chaos of his home life. No one imagined he would become a killer. But that morning, he fired 10 shots, killing 16-year-olds Demetrius Hewlin and Daniel Parmertor and 17-year-old Russell King Jr. Lane admitted to the murders, gave no explanation, and was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences with no chance of parole.
He just smiled, and at one point even raised his middle finger to victims' families. And his statement to the court, just too vulgar to say.
Lane's complete lack of remorse shocked the courtroom. During sentencing, he insulted the victims' families with graphic profanity and raised his middle finger. Prosecutors said they could find no motive. He is an evil person, one said plainly. His capture after the escape brought relief, but for many in Chardon, the pain he caused never faded. Lane's crimes, his attitude, and his escape left a permanent scar on the community, a reminder of how one person's violence can echo for years.
Come talk to your attorney. Quincy, come on. Quincy, we got the talk, all right? We're going to do next. Quincy, we're going to do next. Come on. Don't fight me on this. Let's go. Come on. Hey.
This is 11-year-old Quincy Tuttle. He was arrested after bringing a handgun, a knife, and about 400 rounds of ammo to Frontier Middle School. The school went into lockdown for 2 hours. Thankfully, no one was hurt. Police say he planned to harm multiple people after school, but was stopped in time. Quincy later told authorities he wanted to shoot a boy in the arm for making fun of his friend, then shoot himself. He also said a voice in his head told him that killing was a good idea. In court, he had an outburst. You can see a glimpse of his behavior. A judge sentenced Quincy to 2 years in juvenile detention.
I am very sorry for what I did, and I have to live with it every day. And that if I were to get a second chance, I will do everything in my power to try to help others.
This is Nicholas Cruz, the shooter in the Parkland attack at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School on February 14, 2018. He was 19, a former student who had been expelled. In about 6 minutes, he shot 14 students and 3 staff members and wounded 17 others using a legally purchased AR-15 style rifle. He slipped out with fleeing students and was arrested a little over an hour later in Coral Springs. In court, the insanity defense went nowhere. He was held fully responsible and received multiple life sentences totaling more than 1,000 years. He once faced the death penalty, but avoided it because one juror voted for life. But take a look at what he says next.
Everyone would stop smoking marijuana and doing all these drugs and causing racism and violence out in the streets. I'm sorry, and I can't even watch TV anymore. And I'm trying my best to maintain my composure, and I just want you to know I'm really sorry.
After insanity was off the table, Cruz tried blaming marijuana and other drugs. He even sounded upset that he couldn't watch TV, showing where his focus and mindset were. He was charged with 17 counts of first-degree murder and 17 counts of attempted first-degree murder. In October 2021, he pleaded guilty to all charges. In 2022, the penalty phase focused on sentencing. The defense raised mental health issues and possible prenatal exposure as mitigating factors. The jury did not unanimously agree on death, so in November 2022, he received 34 consecutive life sentences without parole.
I'd like to thank you for letting me speak, Your Honor. We are all here because of me. today of what I did. My actions were because of what I chose to do. I could not stop myself, but I am the one who led to why we are here today. I do not diminish any ability to anyone who could have stopped me.
This is Ethan Crumbley. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole for the 2021 Oxford High School shooting in Michigan, where he killed 4 classmates and wounded 6 others and a teacher. Judge Kwame Rowe said Crumbley acted like an executioner. He told Justin Schilling, 17, to get on his knees and shot him at point-blank range. He shot Hannah St. Juliana, 14, a second time while she was already down to finish the job. The judge noted Crumbley wrote that he wanted notoriety and to be the biggest school shooter in Michigan.
I am a really bad person. I have done terrible things that no one should ever do. I have lied, been not trustworthy. I've hurt many people, and that's what I've done, and I'm not denying it, but that's not who I plan on to be. Whatever sentence it is, I do plan to be better than I am. I don't know if you'll believe that, but records of 15, 20, 25 years can show that it will change.
Before sentencing, Crumbley told the court, "I am a really bad person. I have done terrible things. I do plan to be better." He kept his head down as the judge spoke. Crumbley became the first minor to receive an original life without parole sentence since the 2012 U.S. Supreme Court ruling that said such sentences should be rare. He was 15 at the time of the attack.
The rest of his life without the possibility of parole with the Michigan Department of Corrections, credit for 8 days served. On counts 6 through 12, assault with intent to murder. On each of the counts, defendant is sentenced to 18 years and 9 months to 80 years with the Michigan Department of Corrections, credit for 8 days served.
His parents, Jennifer and James Crumbley, also faced consequences. They bought the gun, failed to secure it, and were each sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter. The first time parents of a mass shooter were held criminally responsible for their child's crimes.
I would just like to say that I wish this would have never happened. I don't exactly know why I did this, but I just ask that you give me hope for a future and get me help, because I do need help. I just want help. I'll do whatever you say.
This is Jesse Osborne. In 2016, at age 14, he killed his father, Jeffrey Osborne, then went to Townville Elementary School and opened fire on the playground, killing 6-year-old Jacob Hall. Initially, he was sentenced to 2 life sentences, but the judge changed his punishment to 75 years in prison on each murder count. Officials said giving a specific number of years lets him qualify for certain SC Department of Corrections programs. Prosecutors noted that if he'd been older at the time, they would have sought the death penalty. Earlier this year, now 21, Osborne apologized in court. His lawyer asked for a much lower sentence, 30 years for murder and 15 for attempted murder, but the judge refused.
The sentence is going to be life in prison for murders. It's going to be 30 years on the attempted murders. You got 10 days to appeal.
The court said 75 years is still effectively a life sentence. The order also said Osborne hadn't fully faced what he did at the school, kept himself isolated in his cell, and turned down mental health treatment offered by the prison. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below.